Welcome to Mind Over Matter, where we feature young Jamaicans who are shooting for the stars. I'm your host, Margaret Boyne. He's 19 years old and hails from the parish of Portland. He's a sixth form student at Campion College and a recipient of a scholarship to Columbia University. He shares his story of success from Bradford Prep to Columbia University. My guest is Justin Clarke. Welcome to Mind Over Matter, Justin.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you.
Congratulations are in order.
Thanks, miss.
So take me back when you first got the news that you had received the scholarship. How did you feel? Just tell me what you went through that day.
It was exhilarating, honestly. It was so exciting, such an amazing experience. I remember I had heard news that the notification was coming at 7 p.m. So I'd spend the entire day worrying on calls with friends, agonizing. Up until the very moment I was in a call with my friend in Antigua, and he was like, "Justin, you're going to get it, Justin." And then, like the second, the notification came in, and my screen went blank, and I was like, "Oh my God, is my laptop?" I'm just like, "Oh my gosh!" It's like, my laptop broken. Yes. And then congratulations and a video panning the Columbia campus came in, and it was truly amazing.
Okay. So is there any reason why you wanted to go to Columbia?
I wanted to go to Columbia for many reasons, because I'm pursuing a career in computer science. So one of the main reasons that it's situated in New York City, a very big apple, a very productive area. And it would allow me to secure many internships, work experiences, etc. Because in the computer science world, nowadays, a degree isn't enough. I mean, and a degree from Columbia is amazing, and
yes.
But the internships, work opportunities, etc., that are also included in the scholarship, I would get from Columbia. The engineering school is top of the top, and I'm a debater, and I would like to keep pursuing debating in that area.
Okay. So why did you choose computer science?
I chose computer science when my whole journey began in at Bradford. Because at the end of prep school, my mother was going to college in town, and I would spend like the late evenings at my grandmother. My grandmother was situated close to Bradford, which was also close to life, because in the country everything is close together. So I would take some trips to the library every now and then, occasionally, and I stumbled upon this programming book. And even though the words seem like gibberish, I just found some beauty in that encrypted language. And for the mere fact that this encrypted language is so potent enough to control machines that can be able to potentially help humanity and actualize my dreams, I looked at those languages. I was like, one day I'll fully understand it. And that passion was postponed until high school, when, to escape the whole traveling stress, I would engross myself in coding, and I found it as a form of escapism to help me. And I just kept following through with my passion.
Okay. So you had that passion for computer at an early age then?
Yeah, certainly.
So Justin, how can we get our students, though, to be more interested in a STEM education? Because there's a view out there with the young people like, boy, them subjects are too hard, man.
I feel like it all comes down to a foundation and a perspective. Like, I feel like everyone has the requisite intelligence. Everyone has within them what they already need. What it means is that you just need to look at it from a different angle. Just like if anything you do, you have to find passion within it. You have to find creativity in it. Coding is a medium through which you can exercise your creativity, just like doing a painting, just like sculpting. It's like when you're coding, you're visualizing and sculpting an atmosphere that is just so endless and so flexible. So you just have to teach it to them in creative ways, show them that it's not just arithmetic. There's so much more to it. And STEM fields, not just coding, chemistry, biology, physics, it opens a world to you and allow you to explore the world to your own eyes, with your own knowledge and your own understanding.
Mm-hmm. You're a student at Campion College. Now, 10 CSEC subjects at grade 1 and 4 CAPE Unit 1, all at grade 1s during a pandemic. Now, how did you achieve that?
Well, the funny thing is, with all those subjects are subjects I love.
Okay.
With the exception of the Englishes, but it's not like I don't love the Englishes, but I try to find a way where I can imbue some interest within a subject, right? Because in every subject you do, in everything you do in life, I can't neglect the fact that there are challenges. I can't neglect the fact that there are going to be times when you're demotivated, stressed, anguished, look at the news and everything you're seeing is COVID. But you just have to look at the subject and approach it from different angles, find some passion within the subject. If you're having problems with English literature, research some literature from this person that you respect in this field that you love. You know, you have to find different ways to creatively approach material, and you're gonna find that you assimilate it very quickly. So what I did was I attached meaning to everything that I did, and every time I woke up, I'd remind myself of that meaning, just like I did when I was traveling. And I would take comfort in my friends, reach out to them, stay connected, and we keep boosting ourselves and pushing through this pandemic, because the pandemic will end, and pandemic is a universal thing. The entire world is affected by it. You can't allow, there's just like a famous Stoic principle said, you can't allow the changeable tides of this world to impact your performance. You have to find that self-motivation from within and drive yourself through anything that comes your way. What motivates me to want to excel really and truly is first and foremost becoming a better version of myself. I'm a person that loves to build myself, and not only myself, build the communities that I partake in and engage in. I love improvement. The very essence of my nature loves to improve, loves to advance. So the mere fact like approach, it's like you're playing a game, right? You're on level 1. Once you want to reach level 100, like every day you strive to reach that level 100, strive to break barriers and pass through many fields that places that would otherwise be unachievable, and seeing other people improve, especially helping them improve, like helping my friends get great grades and tests. When I see their accomplishments, it just excites me, because I love to see improvement, advancement of my friends, me, my communities, and potentially Jamaica and the Caribbean.
You have received several other awards at Campion. Tell us some of the awards that you have received, and especially I want you to tell us about this student program for innovation in science and engineering.
Okay, so at Campion College, I was the first. I participated in many debating competitions and came first and second in the island. I went on debating teams, with teams of like 3 or 4, and we consecutively went top in the island in debating. I participated in 1 or 2 coding competitions, national and elite level, and I came second. And yeah, for the student program in innovation in science and engineering, is this program that hosts top level students in the Caribbean, and it fosters STEM skills, it fosters entrepreneurial skills, solidarity among the Caribbean's elite, and you know, it's not more than just a program. I find that it's a community, and this community has really contributed a lot to my growth, and I would recommend it to anybody. And it's an intensive 5-week program where they model it after MIT's program, and MIT's courses rich academics. And I secured the top performer in computer programming and other top spots in physics and calculus. And I created the most creative electronics project.
Great. So persons might think that It's all about the book for you, but I noticed that you did several extracurricular activities again as well. How were you able to balance both?
The extracurriculars?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, extracurriculars are really the fun stuff in high school, Like everyone's just hyper focuses on academics, academics as if it is the end it all. But really and truly, what excited me and kept me through this high school experience, what kept me through this and the entire journey traveling back and forth between Portland and Kingston, is my drive to do my extracurriculars. Like I would be in school and I would just be anticipating going to extracurriculars. Like in class, I'm like, I wonder what we'll do in software engineering today.
Yeah.
And it's like I get to experience and interact with other communities in debating. We debate many controversial topics, many current affairs, many abstract topics as well. And we just be fun-filled, engaging with in rich argumentation that would otherwise be inaccessible. And in software engineering, we discussed the different innovations, engaging code together as a community. And I found that this uplifted me. And it's also contributed to my academics because sometimes they can't really approach things by the standard way. Like scientists and other innovators and engineers in the world have to approach things from different angles, from different cultural viewpoints, etc. So interacting with many communities outside the school atmosphere just opens your mind to the many options and the many dynamic ways that a problem can be approached and that a problem can be solved.
So Justin, you have some students who feel that, boy, them something that waste of time. What would you say to them, I mean, about pursuing these extracurricular activities?
Well, they would say it's a waste of time, and they would say that just focus on the academics. But then in the CAPE exams, that I didn't even think I would do that well. Like I had anticipated the ones, but then I came third in physics and fourth in pure math, and that was solely off of the experiences I had in software engineering, engaging with that code, engaging. Like I realized that they gain skills like debating and speaking and coding. Is like there are certain parts of your subconscious that are inherently trained. So when you engage in these materials, you're training yourself to think procedurally, training yourself to think logically, approach things in a defined way. And yes, you can read books and assimilate tons and tons of knowledge, but can you really in-depthly understand that knowledge? Do you really, assimilate and understand what you're reading? But these different avenues allow different creative ways of approaching material, understanding the material. And it definitely helps in school, like a lot in school, because you have that understanding.
But you're from Portland. You mentioned that you had to travel back and forth every day. How did you manage that? With all the things that you had to do? Come on, tell us how you worked that out, man.
Well, really and truly, when I was in Bradford, the only thing I aspired to go to was Campion College. I always looked at school science quiz. I always heard about it. I heard that this was the place to be, especially at Bradford. Someone like me, a nerd. I heard that this was a community of nerds. We're all living we all live harmoniously. And it just intrigued me. I was like, if this is the place where I should be, then I should go there no matter what. And then from an early age, I realized that, if I don't chase my dreams, regardless of where they are, then I will never succeed. It's like you have to understand that you can't dismiss your dreams, because at what end will you keep dismissing your dreams? At what end will you stop? If you're not willing to give up everything, do you really deserve to do everything like that? And deserve is kind of a harsh word, but really and truly, we tend to look at social media all the while, and we tend to glorify people. We tend to envy people and see their positions, etc. But are you willing to put in the work to get to where they are? People don't just look at things.
They see the glory,
Yeah, they see the glory and the fame, but they don't see the different steps that person had to take, the different challenges that person had to endure. And so I realized that, succeeding is something that I hold dear. And if I have to just travel back and forth to succeed, I'll give it up in infinite lifetimes. So my parents were extremely supportive. They kept me on a private taxi going back and forth. They sacrificed, and then they potentially even sacrificed again in upper school when after I traveled for all those years to rent an apartment, because they realized that it was taking a toll on me, and that the financial disadvantages and that the mental strain that it had on me and my brother who attended Arden High School far outweighed the financial disadvantages.
Okay.
Nevertheless, I dreamed and aspired to go to Campion College. I did everything that it took to get to Campion College. And I just had to remind myself every morning I wake up at like 4 o'clock. I'm like, Justin, this is your path. This is your journey.
Yes.
You have to do this. You have to succeed. Well, in prep school, my mind was just set on Campion College. I never imagined anything greater than that. But when I'm at Campion College, interacting with this rich, dynamic community, that's not just academics. that's not just academics. But these people with all different interests, all different skill sets, different unique personalities. I was one of the only human true nerd. Like, everybody is smart, don't get me wrong, but not everyone embodies that whole nerd archetype.
Yes.
And they're very intelligent people, very creative people. And it really made me who I am today. And just growing up in that Campion College community with so much support, I found the strength within me to keep aspiring to be at Campion College, regardless of whatever it took. And yeah, it took some acclimatization, it took some adjusting, but eventually I did persevere and made it through.
Were you always a student at Bradford Prep?
Well, at Bradford Prep, I was always an A student. I wasn't the top student at the prep school initially, because I would often. Well, I was a tough student, but I wasn't achieving my full potential, because I would often go to the library. I would often I would find other means of engaging intellectually outside of the school atmosphere. Then I got chicken gunny in grade 6, which I had to took school leave and be treated at home, and this put me behind by around a month to 2. But the fact that it put me behind, I got motivated to catch up. I was I like putting on challenges onto myself, because I see them as objectives. So since I knew that I was already behind, I was like, where can I go with this? What is the limit? So then I kept pushing myself, and I exceeded the top. And, I got like 98% on the GSAT. And this was I had the first or second in the parish of Portland, and I got through from Campion College. It all ended well.
Boy, so it's a whole life then of academic success.
Yes, totally.
Yes. So let me ask you a question though, because persons would want to know that during the pandemic, the subjects that you would have been doing are like the sciences, would be lab-based and all of that. How did all of that affect the online school?
Yeah, that's the thing. The subjects I do are extremely technical. And the funny thing is though, ever since first form, I didn't really use books that much in school.
Oh, okay.
It's because of that. So my reasoning is like, I travel around 5 to 6 hours on the road to graduate, and I use that time for introspection, when just assimilating the knowledge. I can't read in the car. I'm terribly car sick. Like if I attempt to look at my phone or read anything, I would barf. So I just look outside the windows, look at the nature, view the nature, and just reminisce on what that happened that day. So that drive in and of itself wasn't totally disadvantageous. It was therapeutic. Given the school day. And I knew that when I reached home, I would have to go to bed quickly because I would reach home late and I simply would just not have the time to study or thoroughly engage in the curriculum material. So I would just sleep, get a nice night's sleep, because I found that to be more advantageous than just being in the books when I get home. And frankly, I believe that the school system is flawed. I believe that when you leave school, you're supposed to leave school, you know? You're not supposed to go home and engage with material. What kind of foolishness is that? Like, during school, you're supposed to be properly engaged in school, and after school, that's why I'm a big supporter, I'm a big proponent of extracurriculars, because it's more to life than school, you know? Yeah, you have friends, family, extracurriculars, everything that makes you that person who you are, that strong character building is just outside of school. So during school, I made it my responsibility. It was my onus to ensure that I left that class with a proper understanding of the material. And I find that by writing notes in books, you are subconsciously relying on the notes. And yes, you're subconsciously relying on, I don't understand it now, but when I go home, I will attempt to understand it. And more often than not, young people don't go home and try to understand it. They go on social media and they go on all these things and forgot that they promised themselves. And while I don't totally dismiss note-taking, it works for everybody, but then I'm mostly a visual learner. And I realized I don't learn kinesthetically. So I would just focus in class. I would go to the teacher, I would annoy the teacher with a lot of questions, with an onslaught of questions. And I would just be in that classroom, properly engaging, properly interacting, focusing. And I left that class with, even if it's not an exact understanding, it's a superficial understanding that I can bend in future lessons. And yeah, so when this helped me to transition more to online school, because in online school you can't, when you're focused on a laptop screen, your eyes are burning, you're not in the right atmosphere. More often than not in your bedroom. Most people don't take notes because they're so stressed. And I would just be focusing on that screen, focusing on the teacher, interacting with the teacher. Because when you interact, regardless of the space, there's communication. And once there's communication, there's the possibility for learning.
Well, that strategy has certainly worked. For you, Justin. Who are some of the persons who have been influential in your life so far?
Been influential. Well, first and foremost, my mother. My mother, before I was born, in town, there was this. I remember there was this. She told me that there was this caretaker that wasn't treating my brother as much as she wanted him to be treated, and she, as a mother, given that today's Happy Mother's Day as well, she took it upon herself that she would be the ones to raise us. She loves us so much that she herself wants to raise us. So she quit her accounting job and went to Portland to help nurture us. And she had a business on the side, just to help financially. But she was more often not always around us, always catering to our needs, emotionally, physically, cooking, and just fully nurturing us. And later on in life, she's actually returned to school now. And now I'm more independent, but I was totally dependent on my mother growing up. And then my father, who always never resisted to help and support in whatever way he could. And yeah, my parents are extremely influential in my lives. And there's just the many friends that I have. On big up Quelo, Ajay, Franz, Lauren, Brendan, my friend in Antigua, Ajante, I'll be on many calls with him during the night. And I met him over SPISE.
Okay.
And it's just we clicked. We had so much synergy that we just kept calling each other, kept interacting with each other. And Andre, Alec, and just Roger, all my friends then who interacted with me over the pandemic and helped me to adjust. And not even just my friend, my teachers at Campion College, I had some really nice teachers who were really understanding teachers that when I come to asking questions after class, like Mr. Burnett, Miss Smith, etc. They would always not hesitate. They wouldn't hesitate to help me and to help me understand. And yeah, my teachers and many institutions that helped me, especially like SPISE, and SPISE especially, because Auntie Dinah and Uncle Cardinal in the SPISE program have always reached out to me, always emailed me that, Justin, you're okay, Justin, you need help. Because especially the year I was traveling doing SPISE, I was traveling.
Right, okay. Yeah.
I was traveling doing CAPE and SPISE at the same time.
Oh.
And yes, I'd be on the road sometimes in SPISE classes. I would go to school, the CAPE, come back home. I'd get like 2 to 3 hours of sleep during SPISE. And they would always like join me on calls and check up on me and ask me if I'm coping. And more often than not, I would be coping because, you know, that would be the first time that I had enjoyed it. And yeah, there are many people that I definitely have forgotten, but that's just a synopsis of the many of the much valid support I've had in my life.
Okay. So Justin, to be an A student, an Ivy League scholarship awardee, what would you say are some of the keys to achieve such a success?
Such are the keys? Well, if I were to narrow it down, to get to such an institution, you need leadership. And leadership, people may often say that leadership is, you know, are you the president? Did you struggle? Did you get the popularity support to become the president or whatnot? But really and truly, leadership is so much more. It's the grit, it's the determination. It's determination to the impact or to transform whatever environment that you're going into. It's that they just want to know that you are a transformer. You are a person that can contribute to an environment. And it's a great passion, leadership, proactiveness. Are you a person that goes after opportunities, that doesn't just sit back and expect to be spoon fed? You need to be someone to rise the vanguard, because they're trying to train the next leaders of society. And would you want a society to be operated by people who aren't passionate, people who aren't contributors, people who just intake, etc. So I think the main side of me that attracted them was the fact that I am someone that not just accepts the status quo, that just follows what everybody's doing. I'm trying to impact an environment in some way that I can. Like, for example, one of my biggest extracurriculars was not even an extracurricular in school. It was in fact like game development as well. Because my friends and I, like traveling and everything, I was also stressed. So I would often take refuge in gaming. I wouldn't game profusely though. I don't game.
Right.
I'll game a good portion every day.
Right. Obviously not.
Yeah. I wouldn't do where I am.
Right.
But yeah, I'll game like from 1 to 2 hours every now and then. And I found that through gaming, I was like, you know, I'm just a digester. I'm just playing games, but what about making the games? What about making the games? What about helping people to experience the same good feeling that I'm experiencing? What about it just always fascinated me. It's like we have these societal structures. We have these structures already made for us. And it can in the future, humanity as a species will continue to evolve. And if we just remain stagnant, that's impeding the growth of us as mankind. We have to look at these structures already available and know that people who made these structures are no smarter than you. They're no smarter than you. They go through the same thing that you did. They're probably more experienced, but how else are you gonna get that experience? By you have to keep yearning to reach their level. And when I saw these games and I went behind the engine and I saw the immense code, I was of course belittled at the sight. I was like, whoa, but then I saw beauty in it. And through the code, I saw the different manifestations of it. And that gave me drive enough to master it.
Mm-hmm.
So my main advice is to try to find your own creative way to impact your environments, and always think of how don't just be a digester. Always find a way to add your own unique twist to different things and be proactive and have passion.
The innovators. So Justin, it was great talking to you. I could easily talk some more, but my time has run out. And I just want to wish you all the best at Columbia. And I'll be following you to, see how you're getting on and what you're doing there.
I'll be appreciated.